Hey, thanks for tuning in a new edition in More Mikara blog. I'm Mikara Reid, the blogger and content creator for moremikarablog.com. On my blog, I cover content such as fashion and style, discussions, and style of life. On this episode, I will be discussing with Atlanta-based chef Marco Bmore, and also known as Mark Jones Clark. On this topic, we will be discussing eating better and eating together in Black America, reflecting off of my blog post. Will African Americans choose healthier food that is good for the soul? This is currently live on moremikarablog.com. But in the meantime, check out our discussion.
So thank you for taking time out of your schedule. And I wanted to talk to you in regards of eating better, eating together in the Black America. A lot of us Black people, because you are African American, and I saw that you're from West Baltimore City. I see that, a lot of Black people are so tied into soul food. And definitely in Baltimore, I definitely enjoy eating a lot of crab cakes. I'm addicted. I'm not from there, but I'm addictive. And I felt like that was like the tippy top of soul food. How do you feel Black people being aware about the Eat Better, Eat Together campaign? Do you feel like African Americans or anybody that titles themselves as Black know about the awareness of Eat Better, Eat Together campaign?
Well, first and foremost, let me say this. I don't think it should be something that's limited to just African Americans. It should be all of America, first and foremost. But specifically, as we were speaking of the African American and minority communities, statistics very much show that when it comes to African Americans, when it comes to Latinos, and then those that are specifically located in the southern regions of the United States, starting from Maryland, Virginia, going all the way down to Florida, and all the way over to the states of Louisiana and Texas. There are severe issues with obesity and the lack of healthy eating. So with that being said, I feel that it's very important that we have more people of color, especially those in the culinary industry, those that are dietary nutritionalists, that get out and spread the word of the importance of healthy eating and the importance of having a healthy diet.
Gotcha. Yes. I do definitely think that, a lot of culinary and dietitians should promote that through everyone, but particularly for African Americans. I have a family member that struggles with obesity, and, we're not very vocal about it because I feel like a lot of African Americans don't know how to source this information or just don't want to cope with trying to get better. So they just continue to eat because they think that it's going to be okay.
Right.
They feel like they want to live in, the what if by just continuing to eat.
Well, I feel one of the problems is it's just a lack of knowledge and information, and more importantly, there are a lack of resources where people
Right.
who want to find this information for them to reach out to. Just telling a little bit of my history as an African American chef. First of all, my story is a little unique because I attended Morehouse College with a dual degree in business and finance. Worked almost my first 15 years in corporate America. My first job starting with the Maryland State Senate as an intern and then worked my way up to the staff for a state senator. From there, held a variety of different corporate positions. And roughly around 2004, 2005, I got burnt out with just working in corporate America, had a good job, good income, but I still didn't find that sense of purpose that I was looking for as far as what was my true calling and destiny in life. And I knew it wasn't to be just an employee for someone. And I had two passions. One was interior design and the other was culinary. So I decided to walk away from corporate America and to take those years of experience that I had gained and put that towards my own business. And as a result, we can see that I chose a path of culinary. Once I got into the culinary industry, my first couple of years, it was all about just wanting to impress people with the quality of food and literally looking to have my ego stroke with those compliments as far as how great of a chef I was as far as being able to satisfy people's taste buds. But I can honestly say that I got to a point where my values started to change as a chef, and I realized that God had placed a higher calling on me, and that calling was that I literally needed to step up and be one of the few people in my industry that needed to start educating people about the importance of healthy eating, and specifically in the African American community, where when it comes to our eating and dietary habits, we're pretty much raised on soul food, and as much as soul food is probably one of the best comfort foods that's out there, unfortunately, when it comes to the health and nutritional side, it's probably the least healthiest food that a person can eat based on how that food is prepared.
Right. I definitely agree. And with you going to school, culinary school in the South, what made you decide to take up culinary schools in the South? I read that you took culinary, you were menteed in North Carolina. Is that correct?
Well, actually, I was working a corporate job in North Carolina. I worked for a national television station, CBS Broadcasting, and I was doing national sales for the southern region. While there, I had a gentleman who actually took me under his wing, and he mentored me. He was a pit barbecue pit master. This gentleman took me under my wing, and he was the first person, a gentleman by the name of Wilson McDowell. Rest in peace, Coach Mac. I always like to, whenever I say his name, acknowledge him, although he's passed away. He's the first person that really took me under his wing and taught me the business side of culinary, but at the same time helped me perfect what was always a natural gift that I had of cooking. He was also the first person who installed in me that if I was serious about taking this journey as far as becoming a chef, and especially African-American chef, that there were certain obligations that I had, and one of those obligations was, in fact, to teach and be a vessel of healthy eating for our community. Because once again, there are a lot of chefs out here who cook, and especially a lot of African-American chefs, but they are very few and in between those like myself who take on the mission of actually wanting to educate people about healthy alternatives when it comes to their eating and dietary habits.
Gotcha. And when you cater to personal clients, are they aware of, how to maintain the healthy lifestyle, or are you, giving them lessons gradually, or is it all at once?
Oh, I'm very much an advocate for it. I'm at the point now where some of my clients will even jokingly have issues with me because if I'm doing an event for them, and if they say they want fried chicken or fried fish, I'm not at a point where I'll ever tell a client no to something, because the client is always right, and whatever the client wants, it's my job as the chef who's employed by them to give them what they want. But I will challenge them at every bit that if we can do something on a healthier level, then let's pursue or at least consider the healthy alternative versus doing the non-healthy. One of the things that I'm also very proud about, I was actually born and raised up in the AME Church in Baltimore. I'm a church by the name of Bethel AME Church. Years later, once I pursued my career in culinary, my church home and my former pastor, whose name is Frank Madison Reid, who is now a bishop in the AME Church. At the time, Pastor Reid was very much a health advocate because he was someone school, was diagnosed with some health issues, and because of that, knew that on the personal level, he had to change his eating habits. But one of the things that he also wanted to do was start to encourage the church as a whole to become a healthier church. And he wanted the church to become healthy in mind, body, and spirit. And I was thankful that for a year, Pastor Reid hired me as minister of the church culinary ministry. And my primary role was, in fact, to educate the church members, to develop workshops, to create partnerships with other community-based hospitals and medical organizations so that we could just educate people on the various ways of how you could increase your life longevity and improve on your health simply by eating a healthier diet as well as incorporating just day-to-day exercising as well.
Yes, that sounds good. Do you feel like people are ready to accept, the alternatives of cooking soul food, like baking, roasting, or boiling meats instead of frying?
I think that's a challenge only because it has been embedded so much in our heritage as African Americans and our legacy as African American chefs. Soul food, whether you're black or white, and I tell people with my personal chef business, we literally are a national-based company, but a lot of our business comes from the southern regions. And I find that in the South, soul food reigns supreme, regardless of what your ethnic background is. But at the same time, it is very much challenging to try to convince people to switch over from the traditional preparation, food preparation of soul food. But at the same token, this being 2017, I've noticed over the last year as a result of social media, a lot of food documentaries that are on TV, specifically there are 2 or 3 that can be found on Netflix that is now giving people an awareness of what's in our food, the way the animals are being raised, the chemicals that are placed in these foods with animals, and also in the farming and agriculture industry. So a lot of people, ironically, I think over the last year, have started to want to embrace more vegetarian and vegan lifestyles. And even those that may not want to go that route, when it comes to cooking soul food, now is probably the first time that I've really seen more people that are open and willing to embrace a healthier alternative when it comes to cooking food. Personally, one of the things that I try to tell the people when it comes to healthy eating and healthy cooking, if in fact you're looking to eat healthy, you have to be very much aware of how you prepare your food. When it comes to soul food, we like for our food to be savory. We like for it to stew in juices. When it comes to vegetables and things of that nature, we want to cook them all the way down so they become soft and succulent. But at the same time, by doing that, ironically, you wind up losing the health benefits and the nutrients of the food by maybe cooking it too long or letting it sit in fatty grease and things of that nature. So I think, like I said, once again, this is probably the first time ever in my culinary career over the last year where I've seen that people are, for the first time, willing to embrace healthy alternatives when it comes to eating soul food and how they actually prepare their soul food.
Yes, I definitely agree with everything you're saying because I come from, well, my mother comes from, South Carolina, and she definitely dominated cooking soul food, and that was all I knew when I was little. And as I got older and I moved out the house and I, got into other cultures, and then I seen, my behavioral changing because of coloring does, they say that it does change behavior changes. I saw my skin getting clearer, my energy was a lot cleaner because I was doing a lot more clean eating instead of eating soul food. But I do miss the eating of real good soul food. Would you? I know. But would you say that you have like younger clients that's trying to do clean eating more than like the older clients that are still stuck onto the soul food?
Well, I think clean, and I'm glad you mentioned that term, clean eating. Clean eating is very important because statistics will also show that once you change and improve your eating habits, it can actually extend a person's life expectancy as well. Those that tend to eat nothing but fatty foods and soul foods and things of that nature, if I'm correct, and don't quote me 100%, but I want to say that the statistics say that they have a life expectancy somewhere in between the ages of 40 to 57. Those who tend to eat clean eating extend their lifestyles from somewhere in the late 70s up until 85 and even 90. And you once again mentioned a lot of things. By eating clean, it will give your skin that much more of a glow. You'll find that just aches and pains that the body tends to experience once it gets to 40 and over. And instead of having to take a lot of over-the-counter medications, which I'm pretty much not a great advocate of, as we can see right now in America, there's an epidemic of people taking pills and becoming addicted to these pills, where a lot of times, I'm not saying that eating healthy is the only solution, because if the doctor prescribes the medication for you, I think that it's probably best to follow that medication or that prescription that doctor may give you. But also, I always behoove people to take it upon themselves to do their own research to see what herbs, what supplements, what vegetables that may be out there that can actually help and assist with the same thing that those medications are. So yes, I very much believe that clean eating should be a foundation for everyone from 2017 and beyond, and especially with the information that's out there and just the actual results that we see. I know quite a few people who are 75 and older who probably, when they got into their mid-50s and early 60s, decided that they wanted to make a lifestyle change and changed what they ate and how their food was prepared. And these are people that literally have turned the clock back on the fountain of youth, where they're 70 and 80 and now looking 50 and 60. And one of the main reasons, outside of just finding a balance of daily exercising, they changed their eating lifestyles. And like I said, clean eating is probably one of the best things that a person can do to improve their health and wellness.
Yes. I tried the vegan. The vegan's okay. I kind of use their method because I'm lactose intolerant, and, some foods are just not corresponding with me now since, my taste buds are changing, my hormones. But I like to use the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time I'll eat clean, and 20% I go out of the box and eat, the soul food of what I'm used to, because I don't want to feel like I'm separated from my family because they haven't stepped into the world of clean eating. So the next
and the 80-20 rule is actually a good rule. I tell people that out of a 7-day workday or a 7-day-a-week calendar week, that is nothing wrong, I won't say nothing wrong. A person should probably realistically eat healthy a minimum of 5 days out of that 7 days. And then those 2 days, I would break them up where out of 5, I may do my first 3 days of healthy, and then that 4th day, you can kind of make that your cheat day. Then do 2 more days of healthy, and then make that last 7th day your cheat day. And the reason being because anything that you're doing when it's brand new, you kind of want to do it in moderation if you're serious about making it a lifestyle change. Those that jump on the bandwagon and say, I'm just going to go vegetarian, I'm going to go vegan, I'm going to just eliminate all red meat. If you do it that fast, you tend to do it momentarily, and then the next thing you know, you're right back off the bandwagon doing the same thing again. So when you do it in moderation, it becomes more of a habit for you, and then little by little, you really don't even miss the soul food as much. And the truth be told, speaking for myself as far as personal experiences, at 49 years old, I told myself that I'm at a point now where I'm about to turn 50, that it was really time for me to start practicing what I was preaching. I do consider myself to be healthy at my age right now, but I know that I can be healthier. But over the last 2 years, I've battled with two things that I've tried to eliminate from my diet. The first was fast food. I was never a fast food junkie, but fast food was there for me as a matter of convenience like it is for everyone else. Once I started winging myself off of fast food completely, I remember the first time that I ate fast food, and it had been a year since I had touched it. And by the time I had ate fast food that first time, I became sick to my stomach. And it was basically my body's way of just rejecting it because I was used to eating foods that, that weren't processed food. The same thing for me that I'm currently working on right now is eliminating soda and all sugar-based drinks from my diet, from my dietary needs or routine, so to speak. And in doing so, as I've started over the last couple of months, I've noticed that I've had an increase of energy, but more importantly, some of the fat that's on my stomach has literally been starting to fall off only because I've eliminated, like I said, soda and sugar-based drinks from my diet.
Yeah. I do agree, because I definitely saw that notice without me even trying to lose weight. I was just trying different foods. And I do believe that food can fix health issues, which is dominating the Black community health issues in regards to connection of how we eat.
Right.
And if we allow it, I do feel like it would, lower the health risk in the Black community. So do you feel like we're ready for a new beginning to eat clean, eat healthy, so we can become more together?
I don't think it's a matter of if we're ready. I think it's a matter of, to a certain degree, I'll even use the term as an epidemic. It's time, and it's been time for years now. Over the last 4 or 5 years, I can't even count on both hands how many friends that I've lost that have been under the age of 45 that have died of heart attacks or strokes. And a lot of that has been based on their eating habits or lack thereof as far as them not eating healthy. Studies and statistics will show that especially with our young children, back in the generation that I grew up in, where technology wasn't as prevalent as it is now, we got outside and ran. We played hopscotch. We played dodgeball. We were very active in sports. Children nowadays, with technology, will sit in front of a TV for hours, scrolling through different cable channels or playing video games and things of that nature where they aren't active. And we're seeing more and more that children now by the age of 4 and 5 are being diagnosed as obese, and a lot of them are also experiencing type 1, if not type 2 diabetes. And that was something 15, 20 years ago, that was the exception to the rule. Now here it is in 2017, that's almost the norm. So that's why I use the word epidemic. It's time that we really don't have a choice anymore. We have to embrace it. And in embracing it, there are two factors that I like to challenge people in doing. Number one, we have to reach out to our politicians and, more importantly, on a city level when it comes to mayors, city council members, and things of that nature. A lot of it starts with local government. We can find fast food restaurants and carry-outs, sub shops and things like that almost on every corner, just like you can a liquor store. But it's hard to find food businesses and establishments that provide healthy alternatives in the urban communities and the inner city.
Farmers markets are very
exactly. Farmers markets, all those things where they can be city-based. So a lot of that, like I said, I tell politicians and city leaders, those that are that work with the health department. It starts with those individuals. They have to be the ones to put mandates and put regulations in effect. Cities can make so much money right now by having just community-based gardens where our young people for the first time can see how food is actually produced. Agriculture. There are so many careers in the agriculture industry that African-American kids know nothing about because they've never had the experience of being on a farm and getting their hands dirty, planting food, seeing how the food is cultivated, when it's grown, and then from the culinary side with chefs like myself, then donating and volunteering their time to teach these kids how to eat healthy. Because right now, I think it's important for everyone, but the truth be told, we have to start with the young children first. We got to get kids to the point where they will completely want to reject eating processed food, eating fast food, wanting soda and sugar juices, where if you start with them at an early age, all those kids will want is nothing but healthy, because that will be the norm to them and it won't be the exception to them. The other thing that I also say, that in the African-American community, there's one institution that's larger than any other institution that we can find in our community, and that's the African-American church. And I believe that black churches, and especially pastors of these churches, they have an obligation and a commitment that they have to start with their membership, and not just the members of the church, but the community in which those churches are in, to do whatever they can to start a food co-op, where for a reduced price, these members of the church and members of the community can get bags of fruits and bags of vegetables and chicken and fish, and then have someone come in and actually show you how to properly prepare and eat these foods. So like I said, there are a lot of opportunities out there right now for those that want, but there's still a greater need and demand for those to step up and be the pioneers and to be the voices of the community, so that we can inspire people that eating healthy should not be the exception to the rule. It should be the standard, and right now it's not. When you hear somebody say they're vegan or vegetarian, we tend to look at them, with an odd look like, wow, why would you want to do that? Whereas the truth be told, more of us should be wanting to embrace that. And unfortunately, that's not.
Okay. So with the kids having so much access to the internet and just having anything they want within the palm of their hands with technology, their phone, do you think that having a lot of fast food is kind of deteriorating families eating together, because all kids can just go on Grubhub or Postme and just order something quick, fast, instead of eating a healthier, nutritious meal? Do you feel like that is separating families from eating together?
When it comes to eating together, yes. And just because a family eats together doesn't mean that the family eats healthy together. But I do agree. I think one of the things, that we need to go back to are those foundations of eating together as a unit or as a family. And the reason why I say that is because by doing so, you also have the opportunity to encourage others. If I'm someone in my family where, just hypothetically say we're a family of 4, and I'm the only one in the family that wants to eat healthy, and everybody else is content with eating, fatty fried foods, at some point, the more I'm around them, and I'm the exception to the rule, and they're the majority, it will make it just that much difficult for me to want to stay on that healthy eating routine. So I think, like I said, that when we come together as a family, if nothing else, it provides a source of support and encouragement for that one person or persons within that family that may choose to want to eat healthy, and whoever that person is who is the primary food provider for the family, and that is pretty much a fancy name for the person that prepares the meals. They should be the person that it starts with. And a lot of times in the African American community, those that may do the cooking in the home, they just want to do quick fast. So it's easy for them to throw something in the microwave by eating processed food. It's easy to want to fry something because if you fry it, you can fry chicken in 10 to 15 minutes, but if I'm baking that chicken or if I'm grilling that chicken, the time will take even longer. So like I said, we are a society of wanting it quick, fast, and now. And anything that's worthwhile usually doesn't come fast. So that's why I always say those that are the commandeers of the kitchen or that person who's the head cook or the head chef in that household, they should be the ones that want to, bring that message to the rest of the family that as a family unit, not only are we going to eat together, but we're also going to eat healthy together.
All right, I definitely agree. Do you provide like cooking lessons for like mothers or families so they can know more about eating healthier?
Very much so. I like to use this term a lot when I describe myself. Culinary is not just my career, but it's also my ministry. It's the ministry of providing effective, simple, easy information, and then actually showing people the tools of success when it comes to eating healthy. One of the things that I pride myself on as a chef, that as my career has evolved from not just cooking for people for pleasure, but like I said, just becoming the ministry of culinary, one of the things that I tend to do, I provide cooking lessons for moms. We do a lot of cooking classes for young children. We try to keep it exciting where we do singles meet and greet cooking classes where if you're looking to eat healthy but at the same time you're looking for a mate, doesn't make sense if you're trying to eat healthy and the person that you're potentially dating does not agree or subscribe to your healthy eating lifestyle, that this can be a way for people to meet and greet, to hopefully get a love connection, but to also find that healthy eating soulmate. We do cooking classes for couples. A lot of times with couples, we find that cooking together can literally be a way of helping save a marriage or a relationship because it's quality time that you're spending together, it's communication in the kitchen, and it's working side by side. Another thing that I do personally that I really don't know too many other chefs to do so, about 4 years ago, God just placed this on my spirit because this truly was not my idea. It was something that he birthed in me, that I wanted to start working with teen parenting. And the reason doing so, with a lot of children who are in between the ages of 13 to 16, and if people don't realize, they are children out here at the age of early as 12 that are becoming parents that are very active sexually. Take that component and then take them having no income or low income, and then on top of that, these are kids that are living in the inner city. These are the kids that are eating the McDonald's and the Burger Kings and are eating at the sub shops and at the Chinese carry-outs, and they have children. Once that child is no longer eating out of a bottle and eating baby formula, and they're at the point where they can eat food from the table, which can be at the age of 2 or 3 years old. If you're a teen parent at the age of 12 or 13, you don't know anything about eating healthy. So when that child is at that age where they're going to start eating the same thing that their teenager is going to eat, that child will then be raised on an unhealthy diet, and then that's when we're seeing kids at 3 and 5 years old being diagnosed with type 1 and type 2 diabetes and being obese. So this was something that was a challenge to me, and I started talking to teenage parents, reaching out to Planned Parenthood and other organizations like that. And one of the things that these teenagers were telling me is, at 12 and 13 years old, I don't know anything about eating healthy because my parents never raised me on eating healthy. So if I don't know it, how can I be expected to pass it on to my child for them to eat healthy? So one of the things that I've been doing over the last 2 years in a variety of cities, including Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Charlotte, North Carolina, and now currently in Atlanta, Georgia, I donate my time and I partner up with a variety of nonprofit organizations where we invite these teen parents to come in and we try to get them to embrace a healthy eating lifestyle. And we tell them, even if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for your child. Do it for your child, because at 2 and 3 years old, they don't have a say-so of what they consume when it comes to food. But you as a parent, you make that decision for yourself and that child. And once those teenagers understand and embrace wanting to eat healthy, because the average parent, regardless of what age you are, you don't want to be responsible for passing anything on to your child that's unhealthy. So these are the type of things that I do as an African-American chef. And I can honestly say I wish that we had more chefs out here that would follow that lead and do the same.
That is really wonderful. I definitely would love to, participate in being like an advocate or speak on, now that I eat more clean since I've adopted the 80-20 rule. But I can definitely, talk to them as far as how I saw the difference in how I was during my youth years into when I was in my 20s, because now people think that I'm like under 25 and I'm 30. They feel like I'm young, but since I made the switch to clean eating, I'm getting a better response to how I'm looking and my energy and everything else that applies to when I've switched over to the clean eating.
And if you don't mind me saying, I've had a chance now that I'm a follower of yours on social media, looking at your pictures. You are truly a very beautiful African-American queen. And I use that word queen because I feel like in 2017, when it comes to the black community, we have to start embracing and acknowledging ourselves as the kings and queens that we are. And as an African-American queen, one of the things that I can say about you, just looking at some of your photos, especially your modeling photos, and looking at your skin is very radiant. And I've even noticed on a couple of the pictures, you can tell when a person has a lot of makeup and foundation packed on them, and then those that just have that natural glow. And on a lot of your photos, I see that in you. And I can only imagine a person that has that, it's usually that person that's living and eating a healthy lifestyle. It's the person, that they very much take into consideration that the things that they put into their body, and I commend you for that. And I always tell people, when it comes to being an advocate, you don't have to be a professional chef. You don't have to be anybody that's in the culinary community. You just need to be a person that's literally living it. And the person that lives it, the one thing that I will also say to them, you never want to preach and try to push your message on to someone. A lot of times when you're doing right, all you have to just do is just be an example. Let people just see firsthand from how you do, and let them know that whenever you're ready to embrace this journey, whatever I can do to assist and help you with it, I'm here for you. And you'd be surprised, a lot of people may be hesitant at first, but once they see by example the glow that you have, the energy that you have, and especially if you're willing to share with them the testimony, this is not how my life always was. I'm somebody, right now at 49 years old, my weight is roughly around 245. I'm trying to get myself down to a solid 195, no more than 205. But at one point, my weight had increased all the way up to 295 pounds. I was very much on the verge of hitting that 300 mark. And I was someone in high school, I was very lean and slender. I ran track. I was on the wrestling team. I played baseball. I played lacrosse. I was always active in sports. But then I just got to a point when, probably in my late 20s, going into my 30s, by having so many things that I was doing with my corporate career and just not taking my eating habits seriously, I noticed that my weight got big. And at one point, I was comfortable with it because being someone who was always small and slender, it felt good to have that size on me. But I never forget I got to a point that one day just trying to put on a pair of tennis and tie my shoes, when I had to bend over and having that stomach there, I was literally winded and out of breath just by trying to tie a pair of shoes. And that was the day that I woke up and said, if nothing else, I need to start making some changes in my life. And once again, I'm not somebody where I'm completely 100% on the health bandwagon, although I'm aspiring to. I just knew when it was time to make a change. And the body will tend to tell you when it's time to make that change. It's just a question of, will we listen to it or will we continue to ignore it? And I, for one, just decided that I could no longer ignore it, and I wanted to do something about it for myself. And now I'm at the point where it's not just about me anymore. I want to inspire others to embrace this journey as well.
Yes, I definitely want to thank you for the compliment. It's definitely been a long, hard transition, because it's not hard switching over from always eating soul food into eating something new and not knowing what your body's going to agree to and what you're going to like. It gets a little frustrating, but I found my rhythm in what works for my lifestyle. So I wanted to close out this interview by asking you to provide like a nice recipe of like a chicken, like a baked chicken, so for the healthy community, so they can, you know, get inspired by trying something new and, you know, just experimenting on the clean eating side.
All right, because chicken is funny. I just had this conversation. I think, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way. I think when it comes to chicken and black folk, that's our preferred food more than anything else. And
I know,
we know
that's why I went that route.
And when we want our chicken, we want it fried. You know, nothing against the Popeyes and the KFCs and all those other places, but when it comes to chicken, if that's what we're going to start with, we need some healthy alternatives. And not having a recipe in front of me, but just, you know,
no, it doesn't have to be
simple. Say again?
It doesn't have to be now. I'm just, you know, asking.
Oh, no, I can give you something, like I said, very simple right now, because like I said, simplicity is the best form of cooking when in the kitchen. First of all, I would say that if you're going to eat chicken, fried should be the last thing that you want to do with it. Baking is nice, but even with baking your chicken in the oven, chicken still tends to sit in its own natural fatty juices. But if I'm going to make chicken, I think the best way to make chicken is to grill it. There's no better recipe than grilling chicken as far as eating healthy. But if a person wants to eat chicken, baking it 350 degrees in the oven, all you want to do is just season it with a little bit of salt and pepper just to start off, and whatever your other preferred seasons may be, something like a garlic, just to give it that additional flavor, rosemary, basil, something of that level, just to give it added flavor, and simply just put it in that oven for about 40 minutes to an hour. Let it just cook in its own natural juices. And if you're going to add anything to it, I would do shortening or any type of corn oil or anything of oil. I would go with a light drizzle of just some olive oil, and like I said, just let it sit for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then just let it just sit in those own natural juices, and that's probably the best way to go. But the one thing I will say for anybody that's wanting to embrace healthy eating and also looking for healthy recipes, I can be found on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by my culinary name, which is Chef Marco, Marko, and the last name is Bmore, Bmore. And I always tell people the story. I use the culinary name of Chef Marco Bmore because Bmore represents the city of Baltimore, where I'm from. And I also use the name Bmore because we can be more than what we currently are if we strive to want to do better. So you can find me as that. And my actual name is Mark Clark. For those in the culinary industry or those in health and eating wellness community, if you ever wanted to reach out to me, But I'm always accessible to my people through social media. If you send me a message or inbox me or DM me, as the young kids say, so to speak, I may not be able to get right back to you, but if you let me know what your needs and concerns are at some point, I will get back to you personally, and myself and my staff will do whatever we can to help and assist people. And then also people can always contact me at my business number, which is 850-490-2291. And like I said, if you ever call, just leave a brief voicemail or a text message, and either myself or someone from my staff, we will readily and gladly get right back to you and assist you in whatever way that we can.
Thank you so much for checking out my first discussion for MoreMikaraBlog.com. Again, I'm Mikara Reid, blogger and content for MoreMikaraBlog.com. You can find me on all platforms, which is More Mikara, MoreMikara, on Facebook, Twitter, or on Instagram. Thanks for tuning in. I would love to hear your feedback. And be sure to stay tuned for another edition of Discussions on More Mikara Blog. Talk to you later. And make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, of course. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Bye. Bye.